Radio Cobalt!
Hey guys, hello and welcome to episode 4 of Radio Cobalt. It's Owen here and I'm joined by
Pontus
and Daniel.
These are the developers on Cobalt, so you're getting the information straight from the developer's mouth.
Mouth.
So to speak. Yeah, indeed. So, we've discussed many aspects of Cobalt in the previous episodes, and in this one we thought we'd go into more detail about online competitive play. Pontus, why is Cobalt so much fun in multiplayer?
Why is it so much fun? Yeah, well, that's an easy question to answer, I would say. It is fun because there's so many modes of defeating your enemies. And also, as I've said many times before, it's fun even if you don't. Even if you die, it's fun to die as well.
You seem to talk a lot about enjoying dying, Pontus. Is this some kind of message about your playstyle? Oh, it's deliberate death again.
Well, it's sort of morbid, I guess, but it's a hobby of mine.
I just like being.
Sorry, so carry on.
Yeah. We could talk a bit about just as a demonstration, our favorite modes of killing our enemies.
Yeah, sure.
Daniel, what's your favorite?
I mean, when Pontus is getting cocky and he tries to beat me, I like to make a really precise roll with a grenade charged up, and then I like to toss it across the entire map so that it perfectly explodes in his face.
Wow, that's actually exactly what I was gonna say. That's my absolutely favorite way of killing anyone.
The thing with throwing grenades is, it's not just a case of looking at your enemy and throwing a grenade in Cobalt. There's a kind of distance you can throw a grenade kind of naturally, so to speak, but...
Well, definitely you can just push the button and throw it, but
yeah.
that will only get it so far. There is a physical element to it as well. I mean, Cobalt, it's a lot about rolling. If you're watching the video right now or you've played it, you'll know it's Cobalt. That's how I roll. That's our motto. And when you sort of use that roll in a grenade throw, you can get it further. It's just simple Newtonic physics. And it's really satisfying to get it right.
So basically just standing still, tossing it, gets it one length, running forward and jumping and tossing it, gets it another, and then running forward, jumping and rolling and releasing in the roll gets it even further.
See, I like that kind of the way there's a skill ceiling to even throwing a grenade, you know? That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And that's why I think you can play it with people who are kind of similar level to you, when you can have a cool match and it's really fun. But you can also get in these kind of matches where everyone's using these elite kind of tactics, you know, and you can even end up killing the guys who are using the elite tactics quite easily as well, but it adds an element of panache, a bit of style to the way people can play.
Definitely.
What other cool ways are there which you can kill people?
Well, let's talk about the defense against the grenade of doom coming from Daniel this time. I would wait for the slowdown effect to kick in, which happens when the grenade is coming closer. I would switch to my fist or my melee weapon, and I would punch the grenade, hopefully getting out of harm's way. Ideally, punching it back to Daniel.
Yeah, but since I time it so perfectly, that's not going to be possible. I mean, getting it back all the way to me.
All right.
That sounds silly.
No, let's.
That sounds silly.
Let's see if that happens.
That's a silly, unlikely scenario.
But you will definitely get it out of harm's way. I'll buy that.
Talking about grenades, another fun thing with Cobalt is that all the pickups are destructible, even other grenades. So if you throw a grenade at a grenade that's on the ground, it will explode as well, as sort of creating a chain effect. Mm-hmm. And that's especially fun if you throw it on one of the larger grenades, the thermal bomb that will set off chaos throughout the whole map.
Nice. Mm-hmm. I think one of my favorite things to do, I think it's a lot simpler than a lot simpler than your guys' techniques. I think is you can simply deflect a bullet by rolling. Yeah. Now, the thing is, because time slows down so much when the bullet comes within the vicinity of your player, it's actually quite easy to kind of roll and deflect the bullet back. I mean, you end up in these close range encounters where a guy will kind of... I mean, another thing, you can jump and you can slide along the ground. So a guy can jump, slide along the ground, shoot a bullet. The other guy rolls, bounces it back to the first guy, who then rolls back, bounces the bullet, deflects the bullet back, and takes out the original guy he was aiming at. So these little moments, like, it sounds like, oh, that's the kind of stuff that, you know, it'll take ages to pull off, but you can do this stuff really quickly and easily, and it happens every, you know, few seconds, which is super cool. I mean,
this also segues into another favorite strategy of mine, which is forcing the roll and then entrapping him with the grenade.
Yeah.
Which is you basically shoot at whoever your target is. Hopefully they will try to roll then instead of jumping aside or something, which forces them into, like, they're in a roll and they can't abort the roll. So you quickly plant a little grenade in the path of their rolling.
Yeah.
And hopefully they will explode.
I mean, when players, when people start playing Cobalt, like the first minute, what happens is that they're just running around dying. But then you show them the roll button, and they understand that that's a basic game mechanic for Cobalt. So then they start rolling all over the place, and they realize, well, this is fun, but also, is this all I'm gonna do now? Roll around and deflect bullets? But at the next tier, you realize that there's a strategy to forcing someone into a roll, or to timing a shot so that you hit the player at the end of a roll or at the beginning of a roll. So it's not only about rolling around and deflecting all the time. There are strategies to counter the roll as well, which makes it really, really fun.
Also, some weapons are really high rate of fire, and you usually want to be able to lay down a lot of bullets towards the enemy. So if you manage to dodge bullets coming at you instead of rolling, you can keep aiming at them for a longer period of time, which makes your sort of bullet output a lot higher than if you would just be spinning and shooting in all directions around you. So that's also comes into play, like when you should know when not to roll and just try to dodge instead, just to keep the bullets going downrange.
another thing about the kind of the mechanics of it, I think if you watch the footage, you might kind of think that Cobalt works like a kind of twin stick thing where you're kind of manually aiming all your shots, but in fact what happens is you kind of have a certain degree of lock on, don't you, on the other characters? How does that work, and why did you put that in?
Well, I think early on we didn't even have roll. It was only basically just shoot straight forward, jump, get to the same level as your enemy, and then shoot, a basic platformer shooter. Mm-hmm. When we added rolling, it became pretty obvious that it was hard to aim within a roll. So to that we added an auto-aim option, like it's actually on.
Yeah.
When you're in a certain angle towards your enemy, the gun will aim towards that enemy with a certain delay depending on your suit and depending on your weapon and stuff like that. We also added the auto-aiming when you duck or when you stand in a certain way. So instead of being like a sort of WASD mouse aim sort of thing, it's more of a timing thing. You time your shot within the roll when the weapon has locked on. So it's a lot about timing and just getting the timing right.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why it feels kind of unique, and you can pull off these awesome things. Like, you could easily jump from a platform and kind of headshot the guy below you with the correct gun if you kind of time it correctly. I mean, they can obviously evade that shot, but it kind of balances itself out, makes it feel really dynamic and fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so the online mode wasn't actually implemented in early builds of Cobalt. Why was that?
Well, as Pontus said before, we never intended it for it to be even a local multiplayer game. It was supposed to be a single-player project from the very beginning, which in retrospect is of course sad, because I would have loved to have it from the start now.
Because it's become trickier to kind of retrofit the online, I guess, and the multiplayer game.
Yeah, adding multiplayer to an already existing code base is always a struggle in itself and a challenge.
Yeah.
But we're dealing with facing it head on. And specifically in Cobalt's case, there are lots of gameplay elements which are interesting challenge in themselves to synchronize. Many games that create a competitive online environment have either focus on dodging projectiles or hitting projectiles. I'd say the other cases where that is not accurate is like games like Street Fighter or any basically fighting game where you have to hit and dodge all the moves all the time. But they use a very specific kind of online synchronization, which sort of depends on a very, very tight game state. So very few things to change and roll back and synchronize. While Cobalt has, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 40 projectiles flying around and bullet time everywhere and grenades exploding.
And timing is important.
And exactly. And so the challenge with Cobalt is that you want to dodge bullets and you want to hit bullets, and both of those performances are very dependent on timing, rolling the millisecond before you get hit by a bullet, or shooting the millisecond where your gun is aiming in the right direction in a roll. So synchronizing all that with latency, that's the big challenge.
It's something that we've been looking forward to, or hoping to have for a very, very long time. So I think both me and Daniel are just excited to try at least and have it work out, because personally I believe it's gonna be pretty awesome if we get it.
Sweet. And don't forget, guys, that there's a build of Cobalt you can play now for PC and Mac, which includes local multiplayer modes along with little snippets of the other modes. I think we've got some challenges in there and some single-player campaign. It's in early, well, what are you calling it? Alpha now at the moment. So, but yeah, you can check that out right now. And if you prefer to wait for the finished versions, then you will be able to get it on Xbox 360, PS3, Mac, and PC sometime this year.
And of course, if you buy into it now, you'll get the full version. PC, that is.
Yeah, PC and Mac are separate from the console versions.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Thanks, dudes. Well, yeah. Have a nice day, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Owen.
Weren't you gonna say something?
Oh wait, I should say something.
You do normally interject at this stage.
I have something to say.
Okay.
And this is one of my favorite ways to slaughter Pontus.
Alright.
And that is, I like to trap him in a corner with a clonk. And it's not a sophisticated way. It's not very complicated. It's just very satisfactory, because when that clonk lands and he's like in that corner, it's just he's doomed basically.
It's a matter of time.
He gets
it's
pushed.
a prolonged killing.
Yeah, he gets pushed up in the corner by the lightning bolt, and then it just gets heated up slowly to his inevitable
So
overheated
you have time
death.
to actually look over your shoulder and look at my teary eyes.
Yes, and it's like, yep,
You guys have some
I got
issues.
you.
Serious issues. Okay, thanks, guys. See you next
Bye-bye.
time. Bye.